Coming up on tonight's broadcast, marching for traditional family values with the Destiny Church.
You're looking a bit gay there with your gold rings.
It's the Bible versus the feral, as EML goes the distance with the God-fearing and the ungodly. And meet the man behind Tamahere's historic meltdown. We have a proud history of religious superstars in New Zealand. Men like Marsden, Pompilia, Canon Bob Lowe, Graham Capel, and now Pastor Brian Tamaki, the charismatic capitalist who's set to become a bishop. Last year, Tamaki's Destiny Church made headlines with a protest against gays in Wellington. This year, he took his followers to Auckland's Queen Street. 2004, and the Enough is Enough march in Wellington proves to be one of the great PR disasters of all time. In short, it looked like a Nazi rally. So this year, Tamaki's crew have gone white. And Enough is Enough has become traditional family values. It still means that gays are evil, but it sounds a little nicer.
Awesome, man. What's Proverbs 17:5?
Well, you'll have to read it and find out.
What is a family?
You know what a family is, don't you? What do you mean, what is a family?
Just asking you a question.
Come on, everybody knows what a family is, niece boy.
Mum and dad, kids.
Husband, wife, mum, dad and kids.
No comment, brother.
Male or female and their offspring.
A family is a dad, a mum, in a marriage.
A family, I don't know.
What is a family?
Okay.
Family unit. It involves,
Well, a family is made up of mother and father and their children.
How do you explain the top twins then?
I can't. Sorry, I can't.
How do you explain the top twins then?
Oh, out of order.
It's just another highway, just another roadside cafe. It's just another airport, just another train stop away.
They don't preach intolerance, they preach diversity, multiculturalism, they support
Just minutes into the march, and some feral fanatics interrupt Brian's destiny.
You're a cult leader, and New Zealand doesn't need you.
They're sick. No comment, mate.
Queen Street has seen its fair share of protest over the years. Springbok tours, genetical engineering, nuclear boats, and even, back in the 80s, a protest against protests. And don't think this family values palaver is anything new. This photo is from 1972.
If there was a bit of biff today, would you get in and put the boot in?
I think that I probably sometimes might not be able to stop myself.
But the first boot comes from the other side. It would be easy to write these people off as a collection of small-minded ninnies who are simply responding to the fear-mongering of moral entrepreneurs like Tamaki.
Strong families, strong nations, strong communities, strong families. Woo!
But you could almost say the same thing of the anti-Destiny crew.
bigotry. You also share pushing across your own values at the expense of others.
Who seem to be taking Brian as seriously as he takes himself.
Jesus is love. You're a bigot. Jesus came to tolerate love, not hatred. And judging by the way you dress, I wouldn't actually be surprised if you're not gay, mate. You're looking a bit gay there with your gold rings. Hey, that's right, hey, Brian. You're a cult leader. You just want to get into government.
Hey, bro.
That's good, mate.
Why don't you just
Hey, mate, peace, bro.
Why don't you just let protest in peace?
Peace, mate.
Hey?
Calm down.
We're for families, mate. What, you're for...
Exactly. Love everybody. Love diversity.
If you're planning your own march, you'll need to assemble some signs. You can use snips, sticky tape and card if you like, T-shirts with catchy slogans, some goons in bad suits, and a few guys who have obviously watched The Matrix one time too many.
Lisa speaking.
Oh, hi. Tamahere's men are wired to a sophisticated network of Christian counter-terrorists with satellite connectivity, utilising the latest technology with full $10 texting capability. This man's on the Talk 200 plan.
You have no messages.
And loving it. For the anti-Christian crowd, it's feral fashion all the way. There's no need to run a brush through your hair, and clothing is optional.
I think we're against a lot of things. We're against colonising, we're against homophobia, we're against... a lot of us are anti-war, a lot of us have been to anti-war protests, a lot of us have went to the multicultural Aotearoa protest down in Wellington at Labour Weekend. We're in support of a lot of things.
Is this your first march?
No, it's the second one.
Is this your first march today?
No comment, eh?
No, I was down at the Enough is Enough march last year.
I was marching for Enough is Enough against Civil Union Bill in Wellington last year.
Oh, it was the one last year.
The Enough is Enough in Wellington.
Good march?
Awesome.
Is this your first protest?
No, definitely not.
Well, I've been on many of them. The first one I've taken the sign to, though. The page has just dried on this.
You made it yourself?
Yes, I did.
Why did you go with those words?
I stole the idea from Father Ted. See, it's a sign I can take anywhere. I can recycle it. It's totally generic, and it says it all.
Is this your first march?
I think I've done one probably when I was single, about, 7 years ago or something. Oh, no, actually, 15.
The last one was protesting against the ARC rates increase some months ago, but...
Sorry, sir.
From the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God defends New Zealand.
Historically, the family has been under attack at various times from saber-toothed tigers, Catholics, witches, feminists, contraception, the film festival, and Shortland Street. How it's managed to survive so far is anyone's guess. But to the 10,000 souls assembled today, the Civil Union Bill is the thin end of a particularly fruity wedge. Add to that the rise of the drug P and homos on Coronation Street, and you begin to understand the sense of impending Armageddon that keeps these God-fearing folk awake at night.
Which is worse for the future of this country, Helen Clark or P?
I'd say P.
That's a good question.
P, of course. P.
Hey.
P's a bit of a bugger because it's destroyed many lives. Yeah. I was a victim of that, but not now.
Which is more dangerous for the future of this country, Helen Clark or P?
Both.
They're both the same.
Well, unless Helen Clark gives life to Jesus Christ, both.
Helen Clark.
Really?
She wants to bring GE in. She's sneaking it in the back door by stealth.
This is a Destiny Church march, not GE, you know that.
I know that, yes. I'm well aware of the event, yes.
To his followers, Brian is the breakwater that might just save us from the gay tsunami that's just off the coast.
Just keep an eye on that satanic front pushing in from the southeast into the Cook Strait.
Who gave us the sun? God gave us the sun. It's a great place
gets to
be.
do that every day?
Great place to be. We're all here because we're happy, and it's a good place to be.
He's also, for this low to middle income group, a role model of wealth and achievement. It's as if he's influenced by the Bible and rich dad, poor dad in equal measure. Just don't mention camels or needles.
Well, here's the thing. I see a lot of these placards down the side say, hate is not a family value. I totally agree with that, because it's not. And this is not about hate. This is about saying, no, we believe in the foundations of this nation, which is the family, you know, the nuclear biological family. And we say we want to uphold that because...
Can I just interrupt you there for a second?
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye. What's up? You wanted to say something? Oh.
Here we are with thousands, I mean, as I said, 15 to 20,000 plus people who are making a stand for traditional family values.
Which is the best and worst family value?
Oh, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
You're carrying a cross, that must be tiring.
I've been carrying it out for over 18 years. Before that, I was a chronic alcoholic on drugs. I was one of the worst prisoners in New Zealand jails in the 1970s. And when I came out of prison a long time ago, I accepted Jesus Christ for Lord and Saviour, and I got saved and been clean ever since.
I don't want to undermine you carrying the cross, but did Jesus' one have a wheel on it?
Well, Jesus didn't have to carry it as far as what I had to.
To the anti-Destiny crew, the march represents a scary spectre, a rise of a religious fundamentalist movement that threatens to drag us back to the Dark Ages. But while 10,000 is an impressive protest by any standard, let's not forget that elsewhere in the city, there were 1.2 million people engaging in their own form of traditional family activities.
If Jesus was gay, what do you think he would think of this march? If Jesus was gay, what would he think of this march?
I don't believe Jesus is gay.
Jesus wouldn't be gay. Because he's the Son of God, so it goes against the law of God. He can't be gay.
Number one, he ain't gay. And number two, he's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
Well, he's not.
Jesus wasn't gay. I can't even comprehend Jesus being gay, so I can't even think about what he'd think of this march.
If he was gay, oh no, I can't speak for Jesus.
I'm sorry. That question just, I can't work with that.
I can't even think of Jesus being gay.
Jesus isn't gay. Okay,
he didn't have any kids though, did he?
Well, he mucked around with a lot of 12 guys.
If Jesus was gay, what would he think of this march?
He's not. He is not.
He's not. Oh, he's not gay. If he was, what would he think of this march?
Let's what do you call it? But he's not. That's the end of the story. And he'd be all for this, yeah.
Even if he's gay?
No, he's not gay. See why put those sort of words in? Huh?
Still to come, he lit the fuse and Tamahere exploded all over the shop like a mad woman's knitting. We meet Ian Wishart, editor of Investigate magazine, and the shocking cartoon that makes fun of the Pope. He's been described as New Zealand's maddest media mullah, a conspiracy meister, a crusading truth ferret. He was our top investigative journalist, winning awards for his wine box investigation. He's also the first New Zealand journalist to have been immortalised in a movie. That's Cliff Curtis playing him there in Spooked. But now Ian Wishart is famous for a media lunch that has turned into a 12-course degustation that has rocked the nation. Ian, good evening and congratulations.
Good evening.
Are you loving all this stuff? You must be loving it.
Yeah, it's got its moments. I must admit it'll be good to be able to crawl back under a rock and just do some real work.
You and John have a lot in common. Christian sort of right-wing, woman-hating. You're sort of singing from the same songbook, really, aren't you?
Oh, I don't think so.
Are you two talking now?
I think we're talking through the media at the moment. I like John. I think he's a good politician, and I wish him all the best, and I think that one day he'll look back on this and say it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Perhaps I'm being naive, but I really think that. But I haven't heard from him since he left me a voicemail message saying I might have been a bit frank.
Why'd you hold back on the Holocaust stuff? Have you got anything else to hold? Have you held anything else back?
No. I had bits and pieces of the interview that, as an editor, you decide, is this relevant to the main story? Because the main story was not about digging a hole for John Tamahere. And I felt that including the Holocaust thing, which was a prelude to his thing about Māori, and they need to move on with their lives, was an extra red herring as far as the magazine interview was concerned.
Why didn't you put Dangerous and Butch on the cover?
Because we're not out there to sensationalise in that regard. This is the thing. I'm a misunderstood journalist. I really am.
Sometimes things that I've read, you seem to be very upset about gay conspiracy. Why would you be worried about what Helen Clark does in bed?
I have no interest in what she does in bed, and that's another reason why we didn't go into details per se of political relationships in that regard.
But do you think the gay influence is too much?
I think that it would be fair to say Labor is overrepresented, I guess, in those areas in regard to the general population.
The problem is that, in our political system, it's not really, if we're talking about homosexuality, it's not just the Labor Party. I mean, in the National Party, for example, you've got
it's not a problem.
Who's apparently bi-curious. In New Zealand First, you've got who's a gay icon. I've got on good authority that was a cross-dresser. ACT Party has experimented when she was at university. She was carpet munching for a few years there. And United Future walks funny. So obviously something's happening there as well.
It's probably
so the place is riddled with it.
Oh, look, well, that's exactly what John Tamahere was saying in his interview. He said it's infested the beehive.
Well, how do we get rid of them?
You don't.
Are you attracted to women?
Yeah, I think so.
So if you were a woman, you'd be a lesbian?
Very good point.
But this is the thing, isn't it?
But am I a woman?
No, but if you were a woman.
Oh, yes. But if I was a woman...
Or would you be attracted to men?
There's the question.
If you had to choose one, who would you choose to be your babysitter? Helen Clark or Ahmed Zawi?
Ahmed Zawi's a father. I think he understands kids.
Could be a terrorist, could blow up your kids.
That's very unkind of you. I still, in that sort of choice, Ahmed Zawi is a parent, so I would expect him to have more knowledge of how to babysit a child than Helen would, and that's no disrespect to Helen in that regard. I just don't think she's a parent and therefore doesn't have the same skills with children necessarily. Probably far too busy anyway.
Now that your profile is at an all-time high, and given the success of the Tamahere Gate, would you consider going back into serious journalism?
Oh, what a lovely question. I'm glad you worked that one in. No, look, I'm having such a great time with Investigate magazine and the stories we keep on breaking, like Dioxin and New Plymouth and the Lab 3 debacle and a whole host of other bits and pieces.
Sorry, Ian, can I just interrupt you for a second? Race 7 is already underway. Let's join the call.
Pam Bromack being called upon's a length away. In behind him, Giddy Up and Go Baby and Southern Kiwi. And Martha Bromack battle out the minor money, but Western Dream, 4 from 4, gets there by just on a length.
Listen here, Tiny. You know that stuff will kill you.
Screw you, fascist! I'm sick and tired of the man telling me what I can and can't do.
You are dead, aren't you? Well, I guess there's only one thing I can do now.
Say, not only do I feel like a freaking plonker, I look like one too. Hang on. This isn't a mirror.
Still to come, a shockingly insensitive cartoon called Pope Town and more Tamahere madness. To the celebrity share market now, and Hyde goes postal in this Herald on Saturday shocker, front bum. A Muldoon jug goes for over $100 on Trade Me. Our most famous finger rapist joins the Latter-day Saints as a missionary. The fertile sportscaster made the Sunday news. And just days after his death, the pontiff gets reanimated in a new cartoon. The cartoon stars Ruby Wax as the voice of a fictional pope who bounces around the Vatican on a pogo stick.
I am the Pope. I never seek.
Whatever, Your Holiness.
And the one who
C4 plans to show Pope Town in New Zealand in July. We can best sum up the last 7 days with the words tossers, queers, dangerously butch, smarmy mahari and toothbrush. John Tamahere's public spaz in Investigate magazine began a roller coaster of media madness that reached its zenith, unsurprisingly, on the Home Show. It all happened on Lindsay Perigo's unique political segment.
Now, you know he doesn't want to apologise for all those things he said to Ian Wishart, because he meant them, he really meant them, and he doesn't want to say he's sorry for them. So he and I have cooked up this little scheme. He's not going to apologise. I am. I'm going to pretend to be him.
Hey, that you, Chris Bro? Yeah, look, it's JT here, Chris Bro. I got to say, I'm really sorry I called you a queer tosser and all that to Ian Wishart, hey, a queer tosser. That was really bad and mean of me, eh? So I want to apologise to you. That cool bananas with you, eh, bro? What's that? You want to kiss and make up? No way, you queer tosser.
Upon leaving TVNZ back in the 1980s, Perigo famously described TVNZ News as brain dead. And that's our show. Coming up next week, EML investigates the afterlife. Is it all new age nonsense or just old age common sense? Insight or just shite? The results may shock you deeply. From all of us here at Eating Media Lunch.
Out of the party and off for a walk goes Tamahere McClary from Don Brash's Dairy. Should be applauded for being recorded. Drank lots and lots and took some cheap shots. Did Tamahere McClary from Don Brash's Dairy. Helen Clark has teeth like a shark. Helen's assistant is butch and persistent, says Tamahere McClary from Don Brash's Dairy. Steve Mahari is slippery and smarmy. Helen Clark, teeth like a shark. And Tamahere McClary calls Chris Carter a fairy. With a scatter of claws and a jabber of jaws, caught with his pants down, he's the toast of the town. With his foot in his gob, will he still keep his job? He doesn't like queries. He's Tamahere McClary from Don Brash's Dairy.